G'day guys, welcome back to What's RC, and today I am here with my Traxxas Stampede 2-wheel drive, which has been playing up a bit lately. It's been making a grinding sound in either the motor or the cogs. I wasn't sure, so I thought it was the cog originally. We looked around, and if you have this grinding sound happening on your car, what you probably want to do first is look around the teeth of your spur gear and see if it's worn out at all. So mine's a bit worn out here.
And why might it be worn out? Like, how does it get to that stage?
Well, it gets there when you rev it too hard. So say you go backwards then forwards really fast, and that can strip this if there's too much force going straight from here. That can also happen if, see, we've got this spring here. If you fully tighten that up, and that's like the clutch, so if you fully tighten that up, then it'll rev and it'll go straight forwards. If you fully loosen it, then it'll rev. It's got discs and stuff in here. It'll discs will warm up, catch on, then it'll go.
So yeah, so it'll wait and then until it warms up a bit and then spring off.
So it'll wait and then go off. So yeah, that's how you can change it a bit. So just what people recommend is good is to fully tighten this up and then loosen it 1/2 turn. So fully tighten it up and then do a 1/2 turn to the left, and there you have it. So what else might be happening is you might have a bit of grit in your motor if it's making grinding noise. That can easily be fixed if you've got, say, a bike pump or any pump that you might use for pumping up footballs or something.
Like an air compressor or something.
Yeah, an air compressor or whatever. And so you just want to get this hole, put your end of the pump or air compressor on there, and just pump or air compress some air into that, and that should blow all the dirt out, if there's any dirt in there. So
if that doesn't work, there's also a solution of putting some soapy water in, like a soapy water solution into here, and then just kind of swishing it about a bit, and that might get the dirt out. You don't want to use any WD-40 because that will attract dirt and that will keep the dirt inside.
So when mine made that noise, I tried air compressing, it didn't fix it, and I was going to buy a new cog, but then we're heading up towards in the area of Hobbies Direct, which we have probably told you about in our other videos. So we went up there, we got some helpful advice from their team members, and one person said that it could be, the reason it's making that noise is it could be that your bearings are gone in here. So if you take this off, you'll find that there's one bearing, that blue bit there's that closest bearing, and then inside this plastic bit there's yet another bearing. So you've got to unscrew the whole housing to get into that bearing. And he also said when he was looking at it that these two cogs might be a bit too far away. And so to fix that, to move one cog forward, you unscrew those two cogs, get an average bit of paper and slide that in between the two cogs, just like that. So you've slid the paper in, and then push the motor as far close to the cog, push these two cogs as close as they can with the paper slipped in, and that should be enough distance to stop you.
Yeah.
Right, so what we're going to be doing today is replacing the back bearing and probably the front bearing, and I've got some parts. I've got the bearings here for it, and I'll probably be replacing the spur gear, and moving the motor a bit closer, and also fitting a new wheelie bar that I got on, so I can do wheelies and not wreck my canopy, which I previously have. So yeah, we'll be fitting that in. It could be a bit of a long job. And while you're doing this, you might want to, if you're having a bit of trouble taking it apart, you can actually get the blown up view of the of the mechanism and motor and all that of the Traxxas Stampede. So to get onto it, what you want to do is go on the Traxxas support and find the Stampede transmission assembly, and that'll give you a blown up diagram of the motor and everything, and that'll probably help you take it apart. So
and know where all the pieces go.
So I've pulled it all apart, which was a bit of a roller coaster. We got here, we managed to do it by doing a whole lot of stuff and a bit of stuff that we didn't need to do. So we took this out, we took that screw out, which we actually didn't need to do, and we took a few other screws out. But what you want to be doing from first time is just so this casing goes like this and the motor goes out like that. So what you want to be doing is just taking all those screws out all around there, and then one of these sides they have the axles coming out. I took one side out already. I've got an Allen key spot there.
Hold on. Yep.
And so you get an Allen key and turn that around and around and around until that comes out. And then you should be able to just pull this apart. You also, as you saw in the video, want to take out some screws at the bottom, and yeah, then you're in the main drive. Alright, once you're inside, the one that could be causing your spur gear to wobble is pretty much directly behind the so where the spur gear sits. So if my spur gear sits about here, and directly behind it is a cog, a shaft that your spur gear goes on the end of, and it's got a bearing here, and that may be the one causing it to wobble. So I'm just going to pull it off, get my new bearing, slide it on, and that should be good.
Wow!
Now,
Gear, isn't it?
Yeah.
The spur gear and the motor cog is sitting really nicely nestled in there, and that's how snug it should be.
Now that we've done that, let's do the fun part, which is installing the wheelie bar, and then we'll take it for a drive and we can film some stuff just to brighten up the day. Alright, so the wheelie bar will come like this, pretty much just out of its packet, which I do not have right here. And so you're not going to need to unscrew any of those. So what you do is, first off, this will be originally snapped onto here like that. So you're going to pull that off. Alright, can you, Rubes? I need you to pull it off.
Like so.
They pull wheelies. Or you can set it on the further most further.
You could do so.
So you'll have with your wheelie bar, you have a shorter screw, a longer screw, and then a really short screw. So that one's a 40mm long one, that's 30 and that's 12. So what you want to do is, it'll have it on the manual, so you get your 40mm one, and that one goes down the bottom. So I think you can push that one in most of the way, and screw it in the rest. And you get your 30mm one and screw that in, and then you go around to the other side, get your 12mm one, and where the 30mm one came through, you put your 12mm one in the other end. Finally, you set it to the right height you want. So as I said before, highest rung, pretty much no wheelies, and lowest rung, biggest wheelies. So I'm gonna clip it into lowest rung, and now I can put some big wheelies. So put my wheels on and we'll take it for a drive. Alright, so that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you liked it and I hope you learned something out of it and got your car working again. I've been driving it around in the wheelie bar. I haven't been able to get up in any wheelies yet because there's not really wheelie-ish territory around here. It's all a bit slippery. But yeah, so if you want to see the review to this car, then that will be linked in recommended videos.
Over this way.
This way.
Yeah.
And make sure you go check out Hobbies Direct, as we've said before, because they have a really helpful team, and if you are in the area of Geelong, then you should be able to go there and they get helped out and maybe even buy a car. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Like that.
Alright.
That'll have to do.